Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of my podcast. Today's podcast is entitled We Are Only Human. And as usual, I'm going to start this podcast off with a quote. There's no need to be perfect to inspire others. Let people be inspired by how you deal with your imperfections. And the author is anonymous in reference to that quote. I know we go throughout life and sometimes we're not where we want to be. Sometimes we're not where we feel we should be. And, we get down on ourselves thinking that, we can't fulfill our purpose in life at this point. And, we can't inspire people, motivate people. We can't, support our families or, whatever the case may be. Sometimes we get down on ourselves, because life can be hard, and at the end of the day, we're only human. You know what I'm saying? You can only do what you can do with what you have at certain points in life. And I know that all of us want better than what we have. We want to be the best that we could possibly be. We want to live up to the potential that we have within us. But the only thing that we can do is take efforts each and every day to be the best that we could be at that moment in time. And then through the power of compounding and building positive habits, it'll help us move closer and closer day in and day out to becoming that person that we need to be in order to achieve the goal that we want and have for our lives. But at the end of the day, we're only human. And to be human in and of itself means to be imperfect. We're gonna mess up. We're gonna fall short. We're gonna miss the mark. It's gonna happen. I mean, it's not something that we can erase from our life altogether. It's something that we can mitigate, that we can, deal with, and that we can hopefully lessen the occurrence of or the likelihood of it happening in our life. But it's gonna happen. You're gonna mess up. You're gonna, miscalculate something. It's not always gonna be perfect. To seek perfection in life is a target that you're always going to miss because, we're human. We're not going to be perfect. A better goal would be to be better or to seek growth. That's something that's attainable. And that's something that's within our grasp, within our reach. Like I said earlier, we'll never be able to achieve perfection. Life is not about a destination. It's about a journey. It's to focus on trying to be perfect, to hit every mark, to hit every aim, to go through life unscathed, for your relationship to work, or I'm not saying that those aren't things that to desire, but we need to be realistic with ourselves. Like, that's just not how life works. Life has ebbs and flows. Life is constantly changing. Life, throws curveballs at you. You can do all the right things in life and something still could happen to you. And I'm not saying all this stuff to be like a Debbie Downer or anything like that. I just want to be realistic with you guys. Be motivated, be positive, be driven, be focused on accomplishing your goals. But when you fall short, when you mess up, when things don't go the way you want to, when you receive some type of feedback that isn't positive, when people aren't in your corner, when sometimes when you have to stand on that stage by yourself, remember that it's life. You're only human and you can only do what you can with what you have at that certain spot and point in your life. It's just the flip side of the coin. It's not nothing to be motivated. I'm sorry. It's not nothing to be demotivated by, or it's not something to take the wind out of your sails, but it's just something that we should be aware of because it's going to happen, and it's just part of dealing with being in the valley and the ebbs and flows in life. Get back up, dust yourself off, and get back after it. Chase your goal, because not moving towards your goal is not going to help your goal come any faster. If you're walking down the street and you trip and stumble and you just sit there and let life pass you by, how are you going to get to the destination you were trying to get to? When you fall, you get back up, you dust yourself off, and you're like, man, that really did suck. Tend to your boo-boos, then you keep on pushing. It's the same thing with life. You know, when you fall short, when things get tough, when you lose your job, when you lose your house, when money's not coming in like it needs to come in, when, things at work aren't necessarily going the way that you want them to go, when things in your life just aren't ideally situated or ideally focused, and sometimes you may be the cause of it, sometimes you may not be the cause of it, but it's just life. And if you make mistakes, embrace the mistakes. What can I learn from this mistake? How did this mistake come about? What is this new road that I'm on because of this mistake here to teach me? How can I become better because of this mistake? I found that when I've been facing tough situations, when I make mistakes, it helps me to ask questions about the situation, what I did, and basically how to debrief myself. That's something we do in the military. Is after every mission or training evolution, we debrief and we go over, what we did wrong, what we could do better, and ways to improve. And it's the same thing with this. When I mess up, because I inevitably will. I'm human. I'm gonna make a mistake. I ask myself questions like how can I get better at this? What can I do to change the outcome next time I face this trial or tribulation? Or how can I keep myself from falling short in the future? How can I better prepare myself for this trial or tribulation that may come up? Or I may never see it again, which would be awesome. But being prepared is better than, just being lucky. It's better to be prepared than be lucky. Our aim should not be to be perfect, rather to be better than yesterday. That is a very reasonable goal. Instead of being perfect, instead of being trying to seek to be, you know, this person that doesn't go through any trial or tribulation or, life just lucky. Instead of trying to be lucky, we should try to seek growth. We should try to just be better than yesterday. And then like we discussed through the power of compounding, you know, those positive habits that you're building up and that positive reinforcement for the things that you need and the things that you want in your life and the change that you're creating, all that stuff will build upon itself. And then over time, you will become a better person. Those weaknesses or those issues in your life that you've identified that cause you to fall short, whether it may be addiction or lack of effort, your laziness, or your lack of discipline. Once you adjust your scope, adjust your focus, and I went like this because it's a telescope. If you're out look through a telescope, you adjust your focus on the telescope. Um, you it's just everything that we've talked about. Everything is related. It's like one big spider web, and this is a compilation of that. We talk about the power of compounding, principles of polarity. This is your book. This is your chapter. Don't let somebody else have the pen of your book. It's all encompassing. It's all together. You can't just take bits and pieces of it. It all works together like a puzzle. And this really should have been the first episode. Because some people forget that they're only human, and they have such high expectations for themselves. But we need to be realistic with ourselves. Like, we can seek to be better, but we need to be realistic. Like, failure is a part of life. It's gonna happen, and you don't need to get down on yourself. You just need to remember everything that you've learned, everything that you've acquired, and in those times of darkness, use that knowledge, use that wisdom that you've obtained to pull yourself out of the darkness, to pick yourself up when you fall, and to keep on pushing forward. One major accomplishment that we should aim for in life is gaining the ability through self-awareness to recognize your imperfections and learn how to deal with them. Again, growth. So when you just take a deep look at yourself, a deep understanding of yourself and the qualities that you have, both good and bad, and you take a look at yourself and you say, hey, this isn't serving me. That's not serving me. This is serving me. How can I fix the things that aren't serving me and turn them into things that can serve me? For instance, like discipline. You kind of wake up whenever you want to, or you wake up just in time enough to go to work, and then your day is mostly dealing with work, and then you kind of just go with the flow. Try waking up early in the morning. See how much you can get done. Establish a morning routine. That stuff will help you exponentially, throughout your day. Because if you start your day off, with a more powerful focus than just getting up, kind of being lethargic and just running on autopilot, it'll set the standard for your day. If you wake up in the morning, take a cold shower, get you awake. That'll definitely get you awake. Take a cold shower, read a book, meditate, pray, maybe work on something that you haven't had the time to work on lately. That stuff is gonna. Those are wins. Those are check marks that you'll be able to check into the win box, and that'll set the stage for the rest of your day. You'll already be awake. You'll already be alive and ready for the day. You'll already be able to put yourself in that mindset of I need to get stuff done, or I'm ready to get stuff done, because you're up and awake instead of just you're living life intentionally, as opposed to like just being on autopilot. I know a lot of us are in autopilot. You wake up, you go to work, you eat lunch at a certain time, you get off of work, you come back home, you deal with the family, deal with the kids, and you go to bed, and we don't have time for ourselves or our dreams or our goals and stuff like that. We need to carve space in life. We all get the same 24 hours, and how we use them is completely up to us. Like we discussed, the competitor you will always face, regardless of others, is yourself. It's always going to be you against yourself. It's always going to be you against yourself. There are other people that you're competing against, but that competition is, if you wake up and win the battle against yourself each and every day, the competition outside of you, the competition in the world out there at large, is gonna be easy. Because if you master your demons, if you master, all your shortcomings, all of your, issues that you have within yourself, like maybe your focus is off, your discipline is off, your commitment is off, you haven't identified your why, your drive. Like if you get all of that stuff together, if you get all of that stuff fixed, and if you put your mind and your spirit and your body in the right place, then you're going to be better prepared for everything that happens out in the real world. Because your external environment is a reflection of your internal environment. So if your internal environment is chaos, so your external environment. So your external environment will be chaos as well. So again, it's all a part of being human. I know the self-talk that we practice, the thoughts we think, it's all a part of being human. And to get control over that is to get control over our success. It's easy to look at others not knowing what struggles they face or demons they battle and think that they are perfect, but everyone is dealing with something on some level. I know you look out into the world, especially with Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, all this social media, Twitter that we have, and it seems that everybody's living their best life but you. But the image that they portray on social media is not real. That's not the real them. That's not the depression that they're dealing with, the anxiety that they're dealing with, the divorce that they're dealing with, the PTSD that they might be dealing with, a host of different other things. People aren't going to present, the worst of their life. They're going to present the best of their life. So when we look at other people, we shouldn't get down or disappointed or jealous or anything like that when we see what they're doing, what they're experiencing, because it may not be real. And even if it is real, just be happy for them that life has taken them there, that they're in that position to experience that stuff. Wish them well and keep it moving. Don't get hung up on what other people are doing. Don't get jealous of other people, because it doesn't serve you. And jealousy is a negative emotion. It's a negative energy that you're going to be producing and circulating in your life. And our energy is something that we need to be conscious of as well, because even though it's not a tangible force, it's still very real. And you can feel like your energy, like usually we talk about energy and like calories and eating food and energy drinks and pre-workout and stuff like that. But, you know, energy is also tied to emotions. Like, when you're happy, you're full of energy. When you're excited, you're full of energy. And like when you're mad, depressed, sad, anxious, you're kind of drained. You really don't want to do much. So we need to be cognizant of our energy and the type of energy that we put out into the world and that we allow ourselves to experience. Regardless of where you are in life, you have an experience, a lesson, a tip, some form of knowledge that we can provide to someone that will help them with the journey called life. It doesn't matter where you are in life. You have some type of information that somebody can benefit from. If you've been divorced, if you're married, if you've been divorced, if you have had a girlfriend or boyfriend at any point in time in your life, if you've gone through elementary school, high school, college, it like there's a host of different experiences that anybody can have that can benefit somebody else. There's never a point in time where you're just valueless, or that because of where you are in life you don't have something to contribute. You always have something to contribute. There's some kid out there that just may need that role model in their life, and you might be that positive example, that one positive example that they have, that somebody that they otherwise wouldn't have in their life. You might be the voice of reason. You might be the calm in the storm for that one person. And even if you were put on earth just to help that one person can turn around and help millions of other people. Or that one person might help one other person, and then later on down the road, like a couple generations down the road, or a couple people down the road, that person may impact thousands of people, millions of people, and it's all because of you stepping out and realizing that you have something to contribute and helping that person out, being instrumental in that person's life. And it's you got to put things in perspective. Like, your experiences matter, and in this grand scope of life, there's nothing that doesn't matter if you really think about it. Every experience matters, whether it's good or bad. You have some information to pass to somebody that's going to help them in some form or fashion. Like, your life is not valueless. You do matter. Your experiences matter. The lessons you've learned matters. The things you've lived through and experienced matter. And it could help somebody else. You never know. You never know. Stop waiting to be perfect. Take action now. The right moment or set of circumstances may never present themselves. I know people get paralysis by analysis. Like, you're just trying to look at every number, make sure it's right. You're just trying to look at every situation, make sure that it's right. The timing's right. The people are in the right places. I'm in the right place. I've saved up enough money. We make a ton of excuses to ourselves not to take action. But we need to take action despite of where we are in life, despite if we don't feel like we're perfect, if we don't feel like we're ready to be in that space, if we don't feel like the opportunity is there, we need to make one. Like, we need to move, because we never know when our last day on this earth may be. So if you have a dream, if you have a desire, if you have something that was placed on your heart, something that was placed on your mind, move on it. Take action. And through the power of compounding, you're going to build that dream. You're going to build those desires. And if you mess up or make mistakes on the way, which we inevitably will, because we're human, you're going to learn. You're going to learn how to tweak this or tweak that, or you're going to run into somebody else that's doing the same thing and maybe be a little bit further, and you can get advice from them, learn from them, and they can help progress your business, and or progress whatever you're trying to do in life, and it could help you in the long run. So you have to live. You can't be paralyzed by being analytical and trying to accommodate for every variable and every way that something may or may not happen. Like, if you do that, you're just going to be the same person tomorrow as you are today. And if you haven't done nothing today, then you're not going to do nothing tomorrow. So you just need to move. Have faith in what you're doing, that it's the right thing. Have faith that each and every day will be better. You will have bad days, but don't let those bad days, get you down, because they're expected. They're gonna happen. Be realistic with yourself and just keep pushing on and moving forward despite the negativity. Live as though you are today and one day you will be. It's just like fitness. So when you go to the gym, the idea or your mindset is, I want to be fit. I want to be healthier. But when you first go to the gym and you're lifting weights, you're not the ideal person that you want to be, but you're living as though you are that person. You're putting yourself in that environment. You're doing the reps. You're eating right, and you're putting yourself in the right mentality. So after you do that over time, you will become that person. You will become more fit. You will become, you know, healthier. You will have a healthier internal environment. So you have to live today as though you are, and one day you will be. Basically, it's the power of compounding. It's the same thing in our life. If today you're not successful, practice those habits that successful people have, and one day you will be successful. If you don't have a lot of money, practice financial healthier financial habits, so that one day you will have more money, or and make investments, and investments grow over time, and then who knows what may happen in the future. But live as though you are today, and one day you will be. But if you never put yourself in that mindset, if you never put yourself in that place to be successful, if you always get down on yourself when you fail, because it will happen, but if you always get down on yourself and dwell on it when it happens, then you're not going to be any better for it. You're not going to be able to push yourself forward. You're not going to be able to get to your destination. You're not going to be able to help anybody, not even yourself. Nobody can go back and start a new beginning, but anyone can start today and make a new ending. And that's a quote by Maria Robinson. Every day that we wake up is a new day to accomplish our dreams and goals that we set out to accomplish. Every day that we wake up, it's a new opportunity to be successful, to write a new page in our book, to be intentional on how we choose to live our lives and how we choose to thrive in this world. You are only human. You're gonna fail. You're gonna fall short. Things aren't always gonna go your way. Sometimes you just might not plan for everything. Every variable is not gonna be considered. It's not might not. It will not be considered. Because you can't plan for everything. There's some things that you just can't plan for, that you won't even see coming. Like, man, I didn't even see that coming. I didn't even know that was gonna happen. I didn't know it was possible. Like, it's just life, and we just got to be in the right headspace to be resilient enough to deal with it as it comes. Because at the end of the day, we're only human. And what we decide to do in the face of adversity is what's going to define us the most.